Hey everybody, it's Neil here from Post to Post. Thank you so much for sharing just a little bit of your day with me, coming back. Whether you're new or whether you're coming back to catch a video, I really appreciate it. Trying to grow the channel, so if you're new, we'd love it if you could hit the subscribe button. If you like jerseys, if you like hockey talk, if you like some jersey concepts, some giveaways, fun stuff, come on aboard. Okay, so I've done the first three divisions, okay? We did North, which had some risky predictions and some predictions that apparently made some people upset. We did the East, which is going to be an incredibly competitive division. Like, honestly, it's a difficult division to predict accurately. And then we have the Central Division, which is a bit up in the air. And now we're doing the West Division, which I don't really want to insult the West Division. I just think it's the easiest division to come out of. The really good teams in this division kind of have it easy in a way. And maybe that's wrong. Maybe I'm being a little bit too presumptuous, I guess, but I don't know. I'm just not feeling the competitiveness from this division compared to the rest of them. The North is strong. The East is strong. The Central's creeping up there, but the West, I'm not sure. So I've predicted the entire standings for this division, and I'll just say, kind of harping back to an earlier comment about fans being upset, I convey my opinions quite respectfully. I don't really bad talk any team. Like, I'm not throwing out crazy insults or anything like that. I think my analysis is, although maybe negative at times for certain teams, it's still done in a respectful way. So if you disagree with me, that's actually great. I like it when people disagree with me. It's the delivery that's kind of sometimes the problem. In that first video, there was a couple of comments of children basically upset that I ranked their team down low, and we're rude about it. Like, if you disagree with me, that's awesome. Just convey your opinion and be respectful. But if you're going to be a jerk about it, then just don't even bother commenting. Like, if you can't control your emotions, then just don't bother. So anyways, let's get into this one. I have concerns about these rankings, but I do feel confident about some of them for sure. So we're going to start off with the 8th team, the last team, and keeping with the trend, I'm wearing the team that I'm placing in last position. San Jose, they're my second favorite team in the entire league, so I'm not emotionally or biasedly putting them way up there in the division with my hopes up high. They're my favorite team. I love so many players in the team. They're going to do great. I don't feel like that. A lot of that was true. They're my second favorite team. Like I said, love a lot of the players, but I don't feel it this year. I think Dubnyk and Jones are the exact same type of goaltender. Spurts of amazing play, but more spurts of questionable play. Very inconsistent goaltenders, and neither I trust in the playoffs to get me deep. Devan Dubnyk was one of the best players, or best goaltenders in the entire NHL, we'll say 5 years ago or something like that. Still a very good goaltender. I just don't, he's not the same goaltender for me. Same with Jones. I have no confidence on the back end in San Jose. And then you've got a player like Carlson, who's getting paid a lot of money, who does incredible things offensively, but is such a liability defensively. And I don't understand how people can argue the opposite opinion, like he's a good defensive defenseman or player just in general. Just watch him. Like, he gives the puck away a lot. He takes way too many risks. Sometimes the risks pay off, but most of the time the risks don't, and they end up hurting the team. But they do have depth, so there is potential there. I'm just being a little bit cautious of the team. I was very disappointed in what I saw last year from the San Jose Sharks, and I don't want to get my hopes up too high. So I'm going to take what happened last year. I'm going to sit on it this year, reevaluate after this year, and then I'll probably have more of a confident prediction moving into next season. But for right now, I've got them in 8th. Coming in 7th, I'm predicting the Minnesota Wild. Now, sometimes I make my predictions based on logic, and sometimes I make my predictions based on emotion. And I'm on the fence between the two in this one, and I've gone on the side of emotion. I have a weird feeling about Minnesota this year, and I don't know why. I have no specific reason. I could say, oh, you know, their leader, Koivu, he left. I don't think that's really, honestly, it's not going to make a drastic difference on the team. I think I'm going to get this one wrong. I'm going to go with it. I'm still going to put Minnesota 7th. I think it's I almost think it's the wrong decision. I'm on the fence, and I think emotionally I don't feel good about them. I just have a weird feeling, but logically they should be higher than this, and there is potential there. So I'm super conflicted about this prediction. Sometimes you feel good about predictions, sometimes you don't really care. It's, if I get it wrong, whatever. But I'm really conflicted about this one because I'm kind of going back and forth on the team, and that's kind of where I've left it with the Minnesota Wild, to be completely honest. Coming in 6th position, I have the Los Angeles Kings. I can really attribute this placing to 2 words, I guess: growth and transition. It's a team that's in transition. They're trying to figure themselves out. A couple of new players coming in, a couple of young guys moving up, and growing as a team. Quick could easily carry this team up the standings. It wouldn't surprise me if it happened, but he could also just kind of play average. And I think the team just in general is kind of the definition of average, and I don't mean that as an insult or a negative way. I don't mean it negatively or positively. I just mean they're just kind of an average team. Then they have some growth. They have some growing to do. They need some growing time. And I think last year was a growing time period. I think this year is a growing time period. And I think that's probably going to be what it is next year. And then the year after that is when we can kind of... It's not that I don't take LA seriously now, but on that 4th year overall, I think we can start to take LA seriously, and their team should be on the rise. And they're continuing to rise. But growth and transition is the 2 big words for me here from LA. It's kind of a weird team because I don't cheer for them. I'm not a big fan of their jerseys, other than this one. I think this one's literally perfect. But it's not a team I cheer for. But it's one of those teams that has a lot of players that I really like. So it's always a conflicting team for me to watch. I don't cheer for them as a team overall, but I do cheer for the individual players. So I will be watching actually lots of LA this year if I can, based on how late the games are. But I don't see them being too high in this division. So I've decided to put them 6th. In 5th position, I have the Anaheim Ducks. The Anaheim Ducks are one of those teams, kind of like LA, where I don't really cheer for the team, but there's a lot of individual players on the team that I really cheer for. I love Rickard Rakell. I love Gibson. And I think, segue into goaltending here, sometimes I have bad feelings. More so often than not, if I'm talking about goaltending on a team, it's because I kind of have a bad feeling about it. That's not the case in Anaheim. I've plunked them basically right in the middle of this division because I'm not sure which side they're going to lean on as far as goaltending. I think Gibson's going to carry them into a competitive position. I don't want to say playoff position right yet. There's potential there. There's obviously lots of holes that need fixed within the lineup. But as far as goaltending, I think Gibson has the ability to carry the team into a competitive position. And if they can squeak into the playoffs, then there is reason for me to believe that they may, keyword may, have the depth to kind of surprise some people. So that's where I sit with Anaheim. I really want to see the first 2 weeks of this team, maybe the first 3 weeks. A couple of teams in these prediction videos. I have a general sense of the team. I feel good about the prediction. Anaheim is one of the ones, like I said, plunked right in the middle. I want to see a bit of a sample size from Anaheim before I feel super confident or super disappointed or whatnot. So let's see what Anaheim has to bring to the table this year. Coming in 4th position, I have the Arizona Coyotes. They snuck under the radar last year, a very low-key good team. Very low-key, very underrated. They had success. I mean, and success is a relative term, but they did have success. They made progression. They had growth. They had a couple of lineup changes, I guess, in the offseason, which is fine. They had some drama as well, and by some, I mean a lot, which is very unfortunate. But that's kind of all aside right now. There's still a couple things to deal with. But for me, when I look at last season, and regardless of their success and underratedness and stuff, injuries was a big factor last year for them moving into the playoffs. And I think without injuries, they could have even gone further and really surprised people and just general hockey fans around the league, not just Coyotes fans, but general hockey fans around the league. And they're on the rise. There's no question. So I feel good about what happened last year. If they can stay healthy this year, if they can be consistent, this is going to be an extremely competitive team. Do not sleep on the Arizona Coyotes. Do not sleep. I think they're one of those kind of sleeper teams that could just surprise a ton of people and maybe not come first in the division. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't even think they're going to come second or third. But if they can squeak into the playoffs or have a comfortable position in the playoffs, maybe they do come second or third, then I believe that they have an opportunity, a good opportunity and a good chance to possibly, get a few, knock out a few rounds. I really do. Maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe I'm being a little bit too hopeful for Arizona, but I don't know. I just feel good. And there's a lot of players in the team I like. It's been a bit of a trend here in this video talking about specific players versus teams that I cheer for. But guys like OEL, who was on this jersey, Connor Garland. The team is full of amazing players to watch. So Arizona, I'm rooting for you. I really am. Coming in third position, I have the St. Louis Blues. So yeah, the team has made some changes. You lost Pietrangelo. Some other things have happened, but generally it's roughly the same team that won the cup, and that is an asset. Sometimes when teams don't change, that's kind of a negative thing. It's not the case with St. Louis. They have much of their core, their original team, not original, but team from a couple of years ago, still intact, and that is a huge asset. These guys know each other well. They are a dangerous team. They kind of, if I could compare them to an Eastern, is it still called the Eastern Conference? Can you still have an Eastern Conference and an East Division? But you know what I mean. If I could compare St. Louis to an Eastern team, they just slightly remind me of Florida. If I could compare them to a team, Florida. St. Louis plays a pretty physical, big game. So does Florida. Can you imagine seeing those two physical powerhouses meet up? And there's Binnington. If we get elite Bobrovsky, can you imagine that matchup? I know it's not going to happen, but still, it's kind of fun to think about. So St. Louis is a tough team to play against. So physical and can score from basically any line. They have a lot of young guys coming up as well. So I like St. Louis. I really like St. Louis. Definitely one of the top tier teams as far as my list goes in ranking and likability and stuff. So I maybe I'm ranking them a little bit too low. Three being low is maybe a weird sentence to say, but they came first, wouldn't surprise me. Came second, wouldn't surprise me. They came any further down than third. They came fourth. I think that's when I would be surprised. So I feel roughly confident about this prediction. St. Louis and third. Coming in second position, I have the Colorado Avalanche. Speaking about teams that are built to win, much like St. Louis, the Avalanche. This is, by definition, a team that is built to win. They've got the goaltending, they've got the defensemen, they've got the forwards, they've got the system, they've got the coach. They have it all, and they've got new jerseys and new uniforms and some new pant colors and glove colors all coming, and a different arena name. That's like Ball Arena or something awkward like that. So maybe there's a slice of weird negativity there in the name of the arena. That doesn't really matter, though. Colorado is one of my favorite teams. I love watching them play. I'm a huge McKinnon fan, and just to see this team just get better every single year is so fun to watch. I could talk about McKinnon and Landeskog and Rantanen all I want, but to me and Makar. Like, they've got some young players who are so good, and Makar is just a joy to watch. But very few teams in the league have the depth and smart depth like Colorado does. So ignore those big ticket names. Those are easy names. But for me, the names that matter on this team and who could propel this team to a deep playoff run are players like Matt Calvert, Donskoy, players like that. Low-key players that contribute a lot without contributing a lot, if that makes sense. Like, on the scoreboard, those two players provide so much additional support to the team than just scoring goals or getting assists. Donskoy's got some skill. Even Calvert's got some skill. He's got speed too. But they don't always contribute by scoring goals or getting assists. It's the little things that those two players and some of the other depth players in the team do, which I think is going to get this team pretty deep in the playoffs. So I've got them second. I considered going number 1 with them, but I decided to land in the number 2 spot. Colorado, I'm rooting for you. And in first overall in the Western Division, I have the Vegas Golden Knights. Built to win. It's a term I've used a couple of times in this video, and it's a term that applies to the Vegas Golden Knights. The team is almost perfect. Almost perfect. You've got Pietrangelo coming in, who is a dynamic that I can't even really speak about because I assume he's going to fit in well with Vegas, but Vegas's story is, and I think it continues to this day, even though it's not as applicable as it was the first year, kind of an outcast of a group of players. Pietrangelo didn't have to go there, he chose to go there. So story-wise, he doesn't fit in, but lineup-wise, he does fit in, and he makes the team better. I just don't know how much better. I don't know how much of an impact he's going to have. So I almost don't want to speak about it that much, but they've got the goaltending, they've got the depth, they've got the offense, they've got the defensemen. I have gripes, though. I'm putting them first. I feel really good about the team, but I have gripes. They fired my favorite coach in the NHL, and it didn't work out for them last year, which was great. Karma. Like I'm kind of happy that they lost, even though I'm emotionally invested in Vegas. I'm glad they lost because it taught them a bit of a lesson. And realistically, even if they haven't fired Gallant, they still probably wouldn't have won. But still, you fired Gallant, so you're on my naughty list just a little bit. But I think they're pissed. I think Vegas is pissed, and I don't want to play a pissed off team. And beyond that, I don't want to play a pissed off team that's this good. So I think Vegas is pissed. I think they're going for it this year. I think they could potentially go all the way. I have a video coming up where I talk about my Stanley Cup prediction, my actual team that I'm predicting to win the Stanley Cup. I've broken it down to 8 teams in the entire league of the teams that I really considered to be my pick for the Stanley Cup. And Vegas is a part of that 8. I would love it if you could check out that video coming up, I think really soon on the video. I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to release that, so I don't want to say later today or tomorrow because I don't know exactly when, but it's coming very soon on the channel. If you're not subscribed, I would love it if you could hit the subscribe button and see Vegas in that video and 7 other teams in that video as well. It shouldn't be a long video, hopefully, but it's going to be a fun video, and I'm excited to release my official prediction for the Stanley Cup winner in the upcoming season. So thanks, guys, for watching this video. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for spending a couple of minutes of your day with me, or maybe more than a couple of minutes. This is probably like 25-minute video or 20-minute video or whatever it is. So appreciate you. All the divisions are done. We've got our predictions out there. Likely going to be wrong on most of them, but that's okay. I had fun doing it. I hope you guys had fun watching. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. If you liked the video, make sure you hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.